Thank you very much, Your Majesty. Now I'd like to hand over the platform to author Thukten Yeshi.
Your Majesty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense respect and gratitude that I welcome you to this session. Your presence here today signifies not only your support for arts and literature, but also your deep appreciation for the hard work that went into bringing this book out. So, thank you very much for honoring this session with your gracious presence. Your Majesty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to present to you my debut novel, The Monk Without Dharma. The Monk Without Dharma is a mainstream spiritual fiction set in Bhutan and across the Himalayas sometime in the 18th century. This is a Vajrayana Buddhist story about two starkly different young men pursuing the path of Dharma. One has a brilliant mind, excelling in studies, while the other lacks intelligence, struggling to get past the basic teachings. Yet, we do not know which one of them would be able to embark on the sacred path of Tantra and achieve liberation. As the title and the cover image would suggest, The Monk Without Dharma is not a simple, straightforward story with an ordinary subject of Dharma. It is instead a unique and unconventional story, dealing with both the ordinary and the extraordinary aspects of Dharma. So, the title, The Monk Without Dharma, is both literal and metaphorical at the same time. In the literal sense, it refers to a monk who has no Dharma in him. But in the metaphorical sense, it refers to something entirely different, something that transcends the traditional meaning of Dharma. So this novel, with the premise, a journey without path, takes the narrative from traditional Dharma into the sacred world of Tantra in a dramatic way. Along this plot line, it explores the intricate workings of karma with the theme, it is not as it seems always, rising to the level of literary fiction in substance, yet firmly rooted in the storytelling conventions of the mainstream fiction. It offers an advanced intellectual discourse on Buddhism, delving into subjects such as the true nature of reality and the evolution of the universe, while enthralling its readers with enchanting and mystical elements of Tantric Buddhism. Next. Now, let me briefly take you through the process and timelines of writing, editing, and publishing this book. The Monk Without Dharma was first written as a screenplay for film for international market from 2017 to 2018. It was then expanded into a novel starting from January 2019 and completing in May 2023. It secured a publishing deal with HarperCollins India, but due to the pandemic, it was ultimately terminated. It was then edited by Victoria Zakim, an American editor who exclusively edits for best-selling authors, working on it for over 5 months. Victoria loved the book and she wanted it to be published with a major publisher. She even offered to help. However, considering the potentially lengthy processes, I had no choice but to decline it. She then connected me to Brooke Warner, who co-founded 2 leading hybrid publishing companies and also who has recently secured a distribution deal for all her books with one of the big 5 publishers, Simon & Schuster. But unfortunately, book submissions were closed for both companies due to packed schedules. Yet, she agreed to self-publish the book for me in the US at her company's level and employing her own team. So her team carried out everything from copy edit and proofreading to design and layout under her personal supervision and published the book in the US. The book is out in the market and is now available on Amazon in North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. It is also distributed through Ingram Spark and other international distribution networks and platforms. At a regional level, a major Indian distributor, the Variety Book Depot, is waiting to distribute in the Indian subcontinent starting from this September. To write and publish these books, the challenges were many and at various fronts, but the 3 foremost were to write full-time for over 4 years and then to edit and publish at the level of a major publisher. I needed money beyond my means. Secondly, to tackle Dharma at the highest level was extremely difficult. Even with the support of 2 renowned Buddhist scholars, Khenpo Tsitrim Doji and American translator Peter Allen Roberts. Finally, there was the most difficult part of crafting a powerful mainstream fiction adhering to all storytelling crafts and conventions. But in the end, it was all worth it. The book is received well, both inside and outside the country. I received many messages from people expressing their appreciation. To give you a gist of the feedback that I received, I'll read through some of the messages that I received. So the first one is from an American reader, 10 out of 10. I loved it. A beautiful gift to the world from a country blessed by many masters. I feel grateful that I got to read it. I read your book. It was awesome, so much so that I'm contemplating becoming a nun. Thank you for writing it. It is really good, one of the best novels ever read. I read the book and liked it. The author is using a simple theme to deliver some deep teachings. And the last one, enjoyed it and also recommend it to others. Thank you for coming up with such a content. Thank you. That was a brief presentation on the Monk Without Dharma. Thank you for your attention. Now, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. I can't hear. To elaborate on the journey without path. This, this book was crafted at a very technical level. While reading it, the readers may only notice the fluid story that flows from chapter to chapter, but it had a very technical process how it began. So a journey without path would actually tie with that title and also the cover image that you see. The protagonist, owing to his perceived bad karma, will not be able to learn any Dharma teaching. But then the question is it his bad karma or his good karma disguised as a bad karma, creating a condition for him to be able to make that kind of hyper jump from no Dharma to the highest level. So in that context, the premise that I had was a journey without path. So in our part of the world, in Tibetan Buddhism or Bhutanese Buddhism, Himalayan Buddhism, so path, Dharma is the only path to get you from point A to point B. But here, as I said earlier, it's an unconventional story. So here the character would have no the Dharma in him. He would not be able to study. There is literally no path for him. But then the bad karma, which is actually a perceived karma only, there is another premise called one karma is only a precursor to another karma. Likewise, a good fortune today may also bring a misfortune tomorrow. A misfortune today may also bring a fortune tomorrow. So in this context, he makes that jump. In fact, in drama, this is the greatest reversal of fortune that happens to him. So this premise, a journey without path, is at the heart of the plot development. So from no Dharma to, I mean, like at the tantric level, he will be making that jump. Of course, that is with the help of a very realized Dzogchen master who will guide him. Thank you.
Good evening. Very nice to see this. I'm an author myself by name Naveen Lakur. And I like the title, right? And actually I wanted to ask you this question as to what made you choose the title Without Dharma, right? It could have been the other way around. As a monk, you're supposed to be following the Dharma. So here, without Dharma, was it a strategic move that, they say bad news spreads faster. So the without sells more, right? Is it, what was the strategy behind the title?
Thank you. Actually, like the monk without Dharma is not a traditional phrase that one would normally hear. Like much less make a title for a film or a book on Dharma. But this is not done as a marketing gimmick. In fact, this comes from the heart of the story. In fact, it is the spine of the story on which the entire narrative has been built, and this phrase recurs throughout the story. So, to a very lay person, even to me, I mean, like, if I had not done this research and come up with this story, it would also refer to me as, like a monk without Dharma. We only see a monk who has no Dharma in him. But then, if you reach at a level of Tantra, again, the definition changes. So, for example, to the Khyompo with whom I have been discussing when developing this story, he will tell you, the monk without Dharma, immediately you will see someone without Dharma. But again, someone who has learned Buddhism, reached that level, would again see at the top level, at the tantric level, then it's entirely different. I could expound on this, but then since many would have not read the story, I don't want to give away the story and spoil your reading.
Good evening, Your Majesty, Your Serene Highness, Tashjigi Singewachula. It gives me great pleasure and pride to see my friend Thukten finally launching the brood in the honor and presence of Her Majesty. I've seen you struggles, I've heard about it. It's struggling back from the college days, and you always wanted to be a writer. So finally, you have fulfilled your dream. Finally, having fulfilled your dream. Yesterday, I was joking with his wife. When I purchased one of his books, I signed a copy. I said, is this the first income that Thukten is getting out of his literary work? So, as an author, you have gone through a lot. As when you were researching for this book, especially with the Vajrayana Buddhism, so how has this, your research with Vajrayana Buddhism, at the end of the book, changed you as a person? Are you become the monk without the Dharma or the other person? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawa. Yes, it had a profound impact on me. I changed as a person. I think this can be looked at it from two ways. At a very surface level, as a a writer who have studied storytelling. It is also said that the story follows certain pattern, and if those who write and would have read the theories about storytelling, Hero's Journey about Christopher Vogler, it tells you that there is truth in storytelling. Storytelling formula, the conventions are derived from the psyche of the common psyche of mankind. So many things would have recurred through and through. So then if you can latch onto it and profoundly get into the process of writing, then story writes itself, and you as a writer also takes the journey. You change with your protagonist. Then on the other level, as a Buddhist, obviously, it had a profound impact on me. I changed, I learned so many things. As a born Buddhist, I did what every Bhutanese would do, going to temple, saying some prayers, but never understood Dharma at that level. But when I embarked on this story, I had to read a lot, consult with a lot of people. So it changed me. I realized that Buddhism is more than the rituals that we do. And also we understand Buddhism more as a ritual at a supernatural level. If you look at Buddhism the way I did, I tried and captured this into the book. I thought I saw, in Buddhism, I heard people, I read people say that Buddhism is science. But what I realized was there is a, science of Buddhism, science aspect in Buddhism. For example, how the universe is formed, how the universe evolved. It's very scientific, from the Big Bang theory to how five elements make us. Then Buddhism says everything in the universe is made up of five basic elements. How does it start the process at a simple level? Space. The space element is open and lucid. It allows the air element to move. Then the air element, will move. Then it will turn into wind. Then as the temperature rises, it turns into fire. Then when it peaks, then it drops down the temperature. It turns into water. From the water comes the solidity of the matter. So This is very scientific. Then, as Bhutanese, many of us would have heard how, like all the Dzogchen masters, when they die, they achieve rainbow body. We always take it from the, the spiritual, or how do you say, like you take it as some kind of unexplainable power that the master would have gained. In fact, it is very scientific and it can be explained. So what do these Dzogchen masters or the tantric masters who go beyond all this and practice? They not only comprehend how the we are the entire universe is made up of, but also they can visually discern. After a certain extent, they develop in them the capability to discern, to see everything around them in the form of elements, which is energy. So then, if you go higher level, when when great masters die, we say that they attain rainbow body, which means they reduce their body in size. This is not a miracle, magic, but exercising their mastery over the true nature of existence. What they do is they reverse the solidity, solidity of their body back into energy, reverse the evolutionary process. So at a basic level, at a lower level, many masters, when they pass away, their body shrink after a while. Then we also heard about those who have just disappeared, leaving just hair and nail. Then there are, again, other stories where the greatest of the great masters can, transform their body at will into energy and leap, bypassing, bypassing the process of death. So all these are very scientific. My understanding has broadened. I now truly believe in Buddhism. So I try to capture this aspect. I think not only on me, this it had effect on the readers as well. I have been receiving so many messages. For example, the one message where the reader says she wanted to, thinking of becoming a nun. She happened to have a terminal, some sort of permanent illness. I'll just wrap this up. So some kind of permanent illness, and she was seriously thinking of embarking on the path of Dharma. So to her, I interacted, and to her, my message was, like it is said in the book, in the story, this may not be your bad karma, but maybe your good karma, like disguised as a bad karma, because in the end, nothing will save you, only Dharma. So if it is going to guide you through, guide you in the direction towards the path of Dharma, I think it is your good karma. Thank you. Do you have some more time? One more question.
Excuse me. Kuzampala. Many people might have asked you these questions before, but what inspired you to write this novel, sir?
Thank you. Actually, this story didn't start from any inspiration, but from my decision to do a Vajrayana Buddhist story for a film for international market. This idea occurred to me, I think, sometime back in 2010 when I was doing my film studies in Sydney. So it was more of a professional decision to do something that can be relevant and can sell in the international market. But of course, once I started writing it, I realized that I was writing on the most profound subject, and then I was inspired to take it to the highest level, give the best that I could, so that it can broaden my understanding, help me, and help the readers in the process. Thank you. Last, with this, we will wrap up. Thank you, Your Majesty.